Good morning, dear students. I'm Dr. Hemlata KS, Assistant Professor, Department of Physics, Mahani Science College for Women, Bengaluru. Having an idea of various types of nuclear reactions and different types of conservation laws applicable to nuclear reactions, and knowing the importance of Q value of the reaction, and also understanding the mathematical expression for it. In this particular session, I'm going to explain two important types of reactions called exoergic reaction and endoergic reactions. Along with that, we are also going to understand what is the meaning of threshold energy, what is its significance, and mathematical expression for it. And these concepts are applied to problems. In understanding the problem, we are going to get the clarity about the concepts what you are going to learn in this particular session. So let me move on to the types of reactions. Any nuclear reaction, as you know, energy is either evolved or absorbed. If energy is evolved in the process or in the reaction, such reactions are called exoergic reactions, which is also called exothermic reactions. In the nuclear reaction, if the energy is absorbed, such kind of reactions are called endoergic reactions, which is also known as endothermic reactions. The total amount of energy released or absorbed is also called Q value of the reaction, or it is termed as energy balance of the equation or reaction. In any nuclear reaction, the Q value is the energy equivalent of total virginal mass minus total final mass. That is summation of Mi minus summation of Mf. Here Mi indicates initial mass, Mf indicates final mass. The virginal mass is also called initial mass. So let us move on to understand the concept of exoergic or exothermic reactions in detail. In these kind of reactions, the energy is always released such that these reactions can take place even for zero projectile energies. In this kind of reactions, the value of the Q, that is the energy released in the reaction, is always equal to summation over Mi minus summation over Mf in terms of mass, and it is also equivalent to summation over Ef, that is energy, final energy, minus summation over Ei, which is initial energy, in terms of energy, if we are going to consider. When you consider such kind of exothermic reactions, always you'll see that the final energy associated with the product elements will be greater than the initial energy, that is energy associated with the reactants. So where the reaction in which Ef is greater than Ei, the value of Q turns out to be positive. Such reactions are called exothermic reactions, which is also popularly known as exoergic or exothermic reactions. And here in this kind of reactions, part of the initial mass is converted to energy to give the Q value of the reaction. So if you try to recollect the examples which we considered when we studied the law of conservation of energy, the interaction between deuterium and tritium, which gives rise to formation of helium along with the neutron, the difference in mass between the reactants and the products gets converted to energy, and that energy is nothing but the energy which is going to increase the energy of the products or elements, or we can say that the energy is going to increase in the reaction. Such kind of reactions are nothing but exothermic reactions or exoergic reactions, that you can recollect back here as an example for this particular exothermic reaction. So apart from that, let us quote some of the examples for this type of reaction. Here you can consider the interaction between lithium nuclei along with a proton. So when the interaction between these two reactants takes place, it forms two helium nuclei, that is He with mass number 4 and atomic number 2, and one more helium atom or helium nuclei with mass number 4 and atomic number 2. Along with it, there will be formation of large amount of energy, which is of the order of 17.34 mega electron volt, called Q value of the reaction. So always you can observe that in case of exoergic or exothermic reaction, the energy is always released after the nuclear reaction. So here you can see that when I consider the masses of the reactants and the products in the examples which I have quoted here, substituting in that reaction with a given masses, that is lithium, whose mass number is 7 and atomic number is 4, is given to be 7.01822 units, and 1 unit is nothing but 1 AMU, here we call it as, and proton it is 1.008142 units, and again helium is given to be 4.003837 units. So when you have this much data, when you substitute for the main equation what we are considering, mass of the reactants becomes the mass of the lithium plus mass of the proton, that is 7.01822 plus 1.008142, which is equal to 8.026636 units. Similarly, consider the mass of the products, which is the mass of two helium nucleus. So it is 4.003837 plus 4.003837, which is equal to 8.00774 units. So when you consider the mass of the reactants and mass of the products, you can easily see that mass of the reactants is greater than mass of the product, such that the difference in mass or decrease in mass comes out to be 8.026636 units minus 8.00774 units, which is equal to 0.01862 units. So here this represents the decrease in mass, and as I explained how that mass will be converted to energy, one unit of mass gets converted to energy by multiplying it by an equivalent energy equal to 931.5 MeV. So this difference in mass is 0.01862 between the reactants and products gets converted to energy, that is into 931.5, which is equal to 17.34 MeV as energy in the reaction on the product side. So we can consider that hence the increase in energy is Q equals 17.34 MeV, which represents the energy released during the exothermic reactions. And always you remember, in exothermic reactions, the masses of the reactants, that is total mass of the reactants, will be always greater than total mass of the product. So the difference in mass gets converted to energy and released in the reaction, and that energy is called Q value of the reaction. And always that tells you that the kinetic energy increases in exothermic reactions. So with this, we'll consider the special case here in exoergic reaction, in which E1 equals to 0. That is when the projectile energy is 0, kinetic energy is 0. And also you know that the kinetic energy associated with the target nucleus is also 0, because we consider the target nucleus to be always at rest. In such a case, when both the interacting particles are at rest, considered to be at rest, the expression for Q value will get reduced to Q equals E2 into 1 plus M2 by M3. So here E2 can be rewritten in terms of Q into M3 by M2 plus M3. And as you already know, the value of Q can also be written in terms of the kinetic energies of the product elements minus kinetic energy of the reactant. So it is E2 plus E3 minus E1. But here in this special case of the projectile being at rest, that is considering its kinetic energy to be 0, E1 is substituted as 0 in this equation, and you can see that Q equals to E2 plus E3. So this represents the Q value of the reaction mainly depends upon the energy on the product side. So Q will become equal to E2 plus E3. So with this we'll move on to the another special case called the case of elastic collision. So you have studied, when you studied the types of reaction, elastic scattering, the same thing here, elastic collision or elastic scattering is one in which the kinetic energy is conserved, and it tells you that there is no change in energy after the reaction, when it compared to earlier to the reaction. So in that case, when you say there is no change in energy, there is no energy get released after the nuclear reaction, indicating that Q is equal to 0. So here elastic collision is a special case in which the Q value of the reaction is always equal to 0. So we'll move on to the next type of reaction called endoergic or endothermic reaction. So these kind of reactions you can observe where the energy is going to be observed in the nuclear reaction in such a way that the reaction energy has to be supplied to initiate the reaction. In the earlier case, the energy was getting released in the reaction, the excess of mass was getting converted to energy. But here in this kind of reaction, you'll see that energy is observed in the nuclear reaction in such a way that the energy has to be supplied in terms of kinetic energy to the projectile. So always you remember, in endothermic or endoergic reaction, energy which is needed to initiate the reaction has to be supplied in terms of kinetic energy to the projectiles. So such kind of reactions in which the energy is supplied to initiate the reaction in terms of the kinetic energy to the projectile is called endoergic or endothermic reaction. In this kind of reactions, we can write the value of Q, which is equal to summation of Mi minus summation of Mf, as usual with respect to mass, which is equal to summation over Ef, that is final energy, minus summation over initial energy Ei. So this represents our regular Q equation in terms of both mass and energy. And here if you consider in this particular type of reaction, always Ei is greater than Ef. That is, initial energy will be greater than final energy, such that Q is going to be negative always, and it implies that the reaction is endoergic reaction. In this kind of reactions, part of the initial energy is converted to mass to give the Q value of the reaction, which is negative. As I have said here, Ei is greater than Ef. That means the final energy is always decreased when you consider the product side, and that indicates that here that initial energy is gets converted to mass to give the Q value of the reaction, which is negative in this particular type of reaction. So here the energy which was excess on the reactant side, as it comes to the product side, it gets decreased. So that energy is converted to mass to give the Q value of the reaction, which is negative. So here Q value of the negative indicates that that much amount of energy has to be supplied to the projectile in order to initiate the reaction. So here in this particular type of reaction, always the final energy is considered to be less than initial energy. So here I can say that here I can say that uh, since the initial energy is greater than Ef, summation over mass, final mass Mf should be greater than summation over Mi. So the final mass is greater than initial mass, whereas initial energy is greater than final mass. So in such a way that part of the energy, that is energy, gets converted to mass, and that gives out as Q value of the reaction, which is turns out to be negative. So here when you consider the example of phosphorus associated with the mass number 31 and atomic number 15, when interacts with the neutron, gives rise to proton plus silicon. Silicon is associated with the mass number 31 and its atomic number is 14. So the release of energy, which is minus 0.6984 MeV, is going to be observed in this reaction, which indicates that it is an endothermic reaction as the energy released is negative. That means this much amount of energy has to be supplied to the incident particle, that is neutrons, in order to initiate the reaction, to make it to bombard onto the target nucleus to cause the reaction. such that the nuclear reaction, after nuclear reaction, you will observe the formation of product elements as seen here. So for the same problem or same reaction, we'll consider the respective masses and we'll substitute masses onto the reactant side and product side, and we'll observe how the mass increases in the product side and how it gets converted to energy with the decrease in value. So let us consider the relevant masses in units are: neutron is given to be 1.00898, and proton it is 1.00814, phosphorus it is 30.98356, and silicon it is 30.98515, such that the mass of the reactants becomes 1.00898 plus 30.98356, which is 31.99254 units. Mass of the products equals 1.00814 plus 30.98515, which is equal to 31.99329 units. So increase in mass, if you consider here, you can observe that mass of the product is larger than mass of the reactant, so the difference in mass is always negative, which is minus 0.00075 units. Convert that into equivalent energy, multiplying by 931.5, it becomes minus 0.698 MeV. So hence it is considered to be a decreased energy because it is associated with a negative sign that tells you that energy on the product side gets decreased by this amount. That indicates that this much energy has to be supplied to the projectile in order to initiate the reaction. So here decrease in energy, which is the Q value of the reaction, is minus 0.698 MeV. This indicates the kinetic energy decreases in endothermic reactions. So let us move on to understand very important concept called threshold energy. The minimum kinetic energy that the projectile should possess to initiate the nuclear reaction is known as threshold energy. And exactly at the threshold energy, the reaction just starts or just commences. As long as the minimum kinetic energy is not associated with the projectile, the reaction will not be initiated. So there should be some minimum energy which projectile has to acquire, or which has to be supplied to the projectile in order to initiate the nuclear reaction. So that minimum kinetic energy which the projectile should possess to initiate the nuclear reactions is known as threshold energy. And as we have observed, as the value of uh, projectile energy reaches the threshold energy, the reaction just begins or just commences. The threshold energy is supplied always in the form of kinetic energy of the projectile. And here the entire kinetic energy is not available for the reaction. A part of it is observed to give kinetic energy to the compound nucleus. So this is very important. In this entire kinetic energy is not at all available for the reaction to happen. Part of that energy is observed to give kinetic energy to the compound nucleus. Here, the energy available for the reaction can be taken as kinetic energy of the projectile minus kinetic energy of the compound nucleus. So if I consider Mi, that is M with small I as subscript, and Vi, V with I as subscript, representing the mass and velocity of the projectile, and M with C, that is capital M with capital C as a subscript, and Vc, that is capital V with capital C as subscript, represents the mass and velocity of the compound nucleus. Then we have, from the momentum equation, product of mass into velocity of the incident particle, that is projectile, should be equal to the product of the compound nucleus, that is momentum of the product nucleus, which is equal to mass into velocity. So here MIVI equals MCVC, such that VC is equal to MIVI by MC. Here we know that in general, Q value is always final energy minus initial energy. But when we want to write in terms of initial minus final, instead of taking Q, it becomes minus Q, which is equal to EI minus EF. So considering minus q equals ei, that is initial kinetic energy corresponding to projectile, it is half mivi square minus final energy corresponding to compound nucleus is half mc vc square, but previous equation tells you that vc is mivi by mc. Substitute in this particular equation, so that half mc instead of vc square it is mivi by mc whole square. So just out of these two terms, take half mivi square outside the bracket common, and the equation within the bracket becomes 1 minus mi by mc. And here we know that compound mass is always sum of the projectile mass plus target mass. So the interacting particles total mass comes out to be the mass of the compound nucleus. So it is a compound nucleus mass is mc, which is sum of mi plus mt, where mt is called mass of the target nucleus. So in the above equation, you substitute in place of capital MC, mi plus mt. So the equation becomes minus q equals half mi vi square into 1 minus mi by mi plus mt. So just rearrange the term. So MIMT, if you take it as common, that is LCM with respect to both the terms, it becomes MT by MI plus MT. So the value of Q, you can bring it to the right hand side. So you can write half mi vi square equals minus q into mi plus mt by mt. So in the previous equation, if you observe, if I want to write the expression for half mi vi square, it becomes minus q, and mi plus mt goes to the numerator on the left hand side, and mt comes down. So the equation is written in this form, and this half mivi square, which is the kinetic energy of the projectile, is the minimum energy which the projectile should possess, and that is equal to ETH, that is threshold energy. So, and that is equal to minus q into, just it is written as mi plus mt by mt. This can also be written in terms of 1 plus mi by mt, cancelling out, taking the mt for both the terms separately and writing. You can also write it as ETH equals minus q into 1 plus mi by mt. The negative sign here indicates that energy has to be supplied from outside. So threshold energy is always observed to be slightly greater than Q value of the reaction. So if you consider the Q value expression, and you can see that from this expression, threshold energy value always appears to be slightly greater than the Q value of the reaction. So let us move on to the problems part. First problem, the Q value of the sodium within the bracket n comma alpha with the product nucleus F20, that is fluorine 20. Reaction is associated with the energy minus 5.4 MeV. Determine the threshold energy of the neutrons for this reaction. Given Mi initial masses, that is 1.008665 units, that is mass of the projectile particle, incident particle, and MT represents 22.9898 units. So just consider the threshold equation and substitute for Q. The energy released is given to be minus 5.4 MeV. Substitute that. 1 plus Mi is given, MT is given. Substitute that value. So that threshold energy value comes out as 5.637 MeV. Since it is need to calculate threshold energy using the Q value and the initial incident particle mass and target mass is given, so that you will get the answer as 5.637 mega electron volt. That indicates that this much energy the projectile should possess to initiate the reaction. If the energy is below this value, the nuclear reaction will not happen. So move on to the next problem. Calculate the threshold energy required to initiate the reaction. Phosphorus 31 with the neutron and proton as the incident and outgoing particles. Silicon 31 as the product nucleus. Given MP equals 1.00814 Mn, mass of the neutron 1.00898, MP mass of the phosphorus 30.98356, and MSI, that is mass of the silicon, 30.98515. So consider the nuclear reaction from the given data. You can see that phosphorus is the target nucleus, neutron is given to be incident particle or projectile. Due to their interactions, the nuclear reaction takes place, and after the reaction, the product elements formed are proton 1H1 plus silicon 31 with atomic number 14 plus some amount of energy is released. So we'll try to find out what is the nature of this Q value, which tells you whether it is exothermic reaction or endothermic reaction. So substitute the values of the masses given in this particular equation both on the reactant side and product side. So you have on the reactant side the mass of the proton, which is sorry, mass of the phosphorus, that is 30.98356 plus 1.00898 mass of the neutron, which is equal to mass of the proton is 1.00814 and mass of the silicon is 30.98515 plus Q. So when you consider add up these two on either side, Q comes out to be the reactants value is 31.99254 minus the product side. If you add it up, it is 31.99329. So indicates that the product side mass is more, as we studied with respect to endothermic reactions. So it comes out to be negative minus 0.0075 units. And here you convert that into energy by multiplying by 931.5. So the Q values comes out to be 0.698 with negative sign, indicating that it is an endothermic or endoergic reaction. That indicates that this much energy has to be supplied to the projectile particle to initiate the reaction. So this is your threshold energy, which is given by ETH equals minus Q into 1 plus Mi by Mt. So substitute all the values here. Threshold energy comes out to be 0.719 MeV. So if you compare to Q value, the value of threshold energy is slightly higher. So with this, we'll move on to the summary of the session by considering the revision of the concepts what you have learned in this particular session. You could understand what is the concept of exothermic reaction and its significance. You also understood the importance of endothermic reaction and why it is negative and what is its significance. And you derived an expression for threshold energy of the nuclear reaction, and also we solve the problems to understand the concept of both the types of reaction, also to find out the understand the threshold energy concept. And the references used for this particular session I mean are quoted here. That is DC Tayal, Ghoshal, Basavraj, and Arthur Beiser, which I have used for all the sessions. Along with it, some of the things are taken from internet. So with this, I'm going to wind up this particular session, and I'll continue with the higher concepts what you have to learn in the nuclear reactions chapter in the coming upcoming sessions. So for today, I think I'm clear to you. You have understood all the concepts what I have taught. So with this, I'll wind up now. Thank you.